Hello and welcome to Long Beach Lens. I'm your host, Derek J. Simpson, Executive Director of the Long Beach Community Action Partnership. Our first guest is the President of the Long Beach branch of the NAACP. Please join me in welcoming Naomi Rainey Pierson. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having us on your show today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You are literally an icon in this community. And for those that don't know, I want to start out by saying when you turn off Bellflower Boulevard and you're going into Cal State Long Beach's campus and you look up to the left on one of those buildings, what's the name on that building?
I think it's called the Naomi Rainey House.
The Naomi Rainey House. So how did that feel to have actually a building at the college named after you? That's pretty special.
It was bittersweet and nice. My husband and I met at the university, and that was one of his wishes to donate to the school, and it was decided that my dorm would be named we would donate so that my dorm would be named in my honor.
That's pretty special. And you've had a profound impact in this community for many years. More specifically, when people say NAACP in Long Beach, they think Naomi Rainey because you've been that leader guiding the organization for some time. But for those who don't know, really what the mission is and the purpose of the NAACP, can you give us a brief kind of history lesson of why we should care in this community?
Brief. The NAACP is a social justice organization, and our major areas are education, labor, economics, housing, and it's to ensure that everyone has access. We're about promoting equality and justice.
How long have you been involved in Naomi? I said for quite a long time, but
well, as you personally know, I'm from Mississippi, and I started in the organization at 14, but locally I've been involved over 25 years, and I've been the president of the Long Beach branch for 17 years.
Wow. Now you talked about starting at 14, so that's something that people should understand too, is that there is a way for youth in our community to get engaged in
Yes.
the NAACP.
Each organization can have youth council, college chapter, high school clubs, and we've started even a WeTot. And wow. Davian, Udwak Intuk, their newborn babies received memberships, the same as they do for libraries, getting them introduced by buying them a membership as a gift.
Wow, wow. So tell us then what is going on today. What is the NAACP doing to make a difference in Long Beach today in terms of your programs and your influences that you're most proud of?
I think the programs that we're most proud of are our education programs. We can say that we're assisting institutions such as the colleges, the universities, our private schools, our public schools get more students into college. The NAACP is about access, and we do believe in public schools, but for religious reasons or some other reasons, some parents do choose to homeschool or to send their child to a private institution. But with the stay-in-school help that we provide, it reduces absentee and dropout. With our music programs, our children are more likely now to be able to get into a program where you have to have private training to get into that program. And we provide additional resources for low income or students with talent where money might be a hindrance.
Now, from an adult perspective, are there different programs going on, or is it primarily a youth focus as well?
We have programs, housing, we have Get Aboard the Technology Train, where adults learn how to use just turn on your TV or operate that new, look like Apple phone that I might see over there that you have. So our programs are from newborns to senior citizens or mature adults.
Wow. And does your outreach then come from you, or do you have a team? I mean, if I'm, let's say, a senior citizen who does feel technology challenged, is there someone that will reach out to me, or do I just need to call the office there?
Frank Colonna provides us a wonderful site on Second Street, one of his buildings. He's donated that for many years. But our agenda is set by national.
Okay.
Then there's a needs assessment done at the local level. We collaborate with the adult schools, with various programs. So you can contact the office, you could speak to an executive committee member, or you could just come to a meeting or email us and register for the various programs. And our list of services and programs are on our website, and that's www.lbcanacp.org.
Okay. Now, with all that you've just said, are there particular areas that you wish, wow, if we could just collaborate with this group to do that, or if we could just go off and do that on our own? Are there certain things that you're identifying as a result of your interaction with people in the community that you have aspirations of getting the NAACP more involved with?
We're working more, we've just formed 3 new collaborations. One with Temple Israel, that's a new partnership we're forming for humanism and for debunking myths and stereotypes. We're constantly initiating programs with education institutions such as California State University, Long Beach City College, with private programs, golf. Our golf program was formerly hosted by the former supervisor, Don Kanabi. Our tennis programs. Our STEM program is being enhanced by Dean Goshani, one of our honorees for the upcoming gala. So we're constantly looking for partners. And of course, long-standing has been National Council of Negro Women and our Greeks.
Now, when you mention National Council of Negro Women, and you have the Brotherhood Crusade and the SCLC, when you think about the history of all of those organizations and you look at these times today that we're living in, do you still see increased relevance and increased importance of the impact that we need to make? Because there's a lot of divisiveness and there's a lot of misunderstanding about the power and importance of diversity. What are the thoughts that go through your head as a leader?
Well, I don't so much say that I'm a leader. I provide influence. I think we all become stagnant when we lose hope and don't believe that the NAACP is relevant. I think that it's very blatant with all of the hatred, with our mission being to eradicate all forms of hatred and exclusion of people based on their race, based on their gender, based on disabilities. To me, it is very, very relevant, and our Constitution and the long-standing, the NAACP is over 100-some years old, and we are constantly growing units, constantly setting the benchmarks and extending the benchmarks. So we're very, very relevant.
So speaking of relevance and speaking of your successes, you have a milestone event coming up, and that is the 38th Founders Celebration. We have a graphic that we'll show, but tell us about the Founders Celebration and why that's important in our community.
The Founders Celebration is important in our community, number one, to showcase and let the community know that there are people in our community that are active, that go beyond the call of duty for social justice. Not just the NAACP, but CCEJ and other organizations, like-minded organizations with missions similar to ours. We have Kelly Lucero, this year who's done immeasurable work by bringing people to the arts and changing the stigma that you must be affluent to be able to go to a symphony. We have Udwak Intuk, who's an amazing role model in STEM. We have a young student from our science and engineering department. His name is Sam Newen. He's a PhD candidate who is working on a cure for cancer, molecular engineering. There's Braden Phillips. I mean, just so many people that have been doing programs in our community that not only impact the NACP, but impact our community as well and at large by doing programs that unite us, that says you're welcome, that says to a young child, yes, you can, and reach out, touch my hand, I'll help you get there.
Well, that's amazing, and I think that it should be known as well that I was proud to receive the NAACP award as well early on in my career, and it was an honor to do that. Growing up in the South, I understand the importance, and especially in the 60s, and the relevance today, and that's why I wanted to give you that opportunity to share. Now, if people want to know more information, we were showing the invites and some of the honorees, they can just go to your website that you mentioned earlier and get all the information they need about that event and being supportive of that, as well as being supportive of the NAACP overall, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
And there will be a feature story this week. Press Telegram will have a full page story highlighting our event. They're one of our partners.
Very good. Well, we're going to take a short break and thank Naomi as she was our guest now. When we come back, we will welcome author and wellness instructor Monique Brown. Stay tuned for more of Long Beach Lens.
They have offered me opportunities. They allow me to utilize equipment that they have. I get to practice more so than I would with the supplies that I have, with the equipment that I have.
I'm learning how to work again with more people and how to actually work in the actual studio and working with the cameras and hands-on.
I remember they said like LAMP as in leadership. I learned a little bit about how to become a leader, as well as communicating with the people I work around with.
After being here, all the teaching, all the skills I've been learning, it became easy. It's like learning the alphabet. And from we start from the bottom and then we go up. We start learning all these new skills. Things that we thought that it was, really hard becomes easy.
Welcome back to Long Beach Lens. I'm Derek J. Simpson. Our next guest is an author, motivational speaker, and wellness instructor. Please join me in welcoming Monique Brown, AKA Mo Brown.
Yes.
So Mo,
Yes.
I go to Goals Gym. I work out.
I see you.
I know you see me because I'm not in that class because you have them in there pumping. I mean, the whole wall, the walls are vibrating. You have the music cranked up.
We're just doing yoga.
Yeah, right. Yoga. I don't know. That's a new kind of yoga. So tell everybody about who you are and what you're doing globally, and then we're going to get into the specifics of the book.
Okay, well, my name is Mo. Of course, I am a GGX instructor at Olympics Fitness and Goals Gym. I've been teaching for over 20 years.
20?
20.
You're only 22. How
Yeah,
do you-
I know. I know. But I've been teaching there for over 20 years, been a professional dancer, traveled, and now, you know.
Wait, professional dancer.
Yes.
So what, is there a story there or no?
Oh, well, I did, I don't know if anyone can look on YouTube but it's, you know the movie Drumline from Nick
Oh, yeah.
Cannon? I assist choreographed with two other choreographers from Drumline, the movie. It's an artist, JC Chazé from NSYNC. They don't have the group anymore, but he was in it. It is called Blowing Me Up with Her Love, and I assist choreographed with that. So you might
Okay.
check me out. You know,
Okay.
check me out a little bit.
So that's where all the moves in that class
You
come
know, a
from,
little
right?
something, you know, a little something, you know.
And I will admit that's why I'm not in that class because.
See, that's the thing. You gotta come, man. You gotta either or, even if
All
you're
right, so let's keep moving.
okay. Okay.
So go ahead. So
Oh.
you're instructing and you're doing all these things and you're a
Right.
choreographer. All right, and then I was reading about you're doing all of that in spite of the fact that you were diagnosed with Graves' disease. For those who
Yes.
don't know, and how does that impact you and what you're trying to do?
Well, it's a big change with Graves' disease. I was diagnosed a couple of years ago, and you know, you get the symptoms of you being very tired. It hits your thyroid, so it hits everything.
Okay.
And it changes your mood. It changes every single thing about your whole body, and you just have to like make it work. So
Okay.
how does it change me is I just gotta constantly keep working out. And one thing about Graves' disease too, you get weight gain, weight loss. I have hyper, not hypo, and there's two different things, but it can always transition. So Graves' disease is what causes the hyper and hypoactive thyroid. But thank goodness I'm not on medication anymore, like, because I'm being consistent with what I eat, my my regimen as far as working out, and just being positive, because sometimes it sends a lot of stress, anxiety, nervousness, all of this stuff that can affect your everyday life. So what I do is really work on meditation, being positive, and just keep motivating myself, and no making excuses for what's going on, because it's not a life death situation, but it is a changing one. But you can handle it with care, you know.
So you just have to manage it,
Right.
and this is something that's not a cure for necessarily.
it's not.
It's just something that you learn to live with and manage.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you be okay with it. Just
Right.
life happens, so you just got to be
Yeah.
okay with
Absolutely.
go with the punches.
Absolutely.
sometimes.
Now, I also read about, and I didn't know this when I met you in the gym, but you're also a motivational speaker.
Yes,
So,
yes.
what are some of the scenarios that you find yourself doing motivational speaking?
Just your own everyday life.
Okay.
Like I can, like, in my classes, the only time when they take a break is when I speak to them. That's the only time when they get their water break. And when I feel like I need to say something, that moment I will. Like, okay, we need to stop being victims. You can push, you can persevere, do this, you're beautiful. Just motivate them to keep going during their week. Because I teach during the week, and sometimes they don't want to get up to go to the gym, but just come to my class. Just help them, motivate them to get, the rest of their week.
So they're not only working out their bodies, you're pushing them to work out, their minds and their emotions
Yes.
to be strong mentally and physically.
Yes,
That's a powerful
absolutely.
combination when
Yes.
you get that down.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay. So, and you have a degree in
Yes.
healthcare. What's your degree and how do you apply that?
My degree is in healthcare administration.
Okay.
And it's involved with what I'm doing now as a therapist, a behavior therapist.
Okay.
Whether with children with autism. It helps me to get more formal. It helps me to be more communicative and understanding with everyone, learning the basics of how to implement whatever I have to implement during the time. It could be, hey, let's just have a conversation. What's going on with you?
Right.
On a deeper level. it helped me. It excelled with, as far as like this, like I said, communication barrier, all that good stuff. So yeah.
So you're doing all these things.
Right.
You're working people out in the gym. You're cranking up the music. You're doing you, and then all of a sudden you get inspired.
Bam.
You know, to come up with this. So
Yes.
no more sorries.
Yes.
And we have a graphic, but what was the inspiration? What's the book about?
I just personally, I got really tired of hearing everybody say sorry for things that can change. It's like, why would you say sorry for things you can change in your life? You can change it. You know you can. I know certain things are just sometimes it's out of our hands. You know, certain things like the weather, that's out of our hands.
Yeah.
But things that you can control, like getting up to go to work, getting up to brush your teeth, getting up to speak to that person that you need to speak to in regards to how you feel.
Right.
You can do that. And so it's a very concise book. It's a step-by-step guide into developing your greatness. It's 88 pages. 4 of those are just only like quotes. I get to the point because I want people to practice it instead of just reading and then forget what they read. It just gets to the point about a lot of topics that we all can agree on, you know, or relate to.
Now, is this your first book?
Yes.
Yeah?
It is my very first book.
And what was that experience like going through the writing and all?
Oh my gosh, the formatting, the everything. It's just, it sometimes it tests you too. Because it's like, okay, can I keep going with this?
Right.
Okay, what is my whole purpose? What's my main goal? You know, and so it's exciting, but it's a scary one, but it's a good kind of scary type thing. So it's a good feeling, you know.
Right,
It's a good
right.
feeling.
No, I'm with you. I mean, we're both recently releasing books, so
Yes.
I think it's important. You know, I was inspired to write my first book because I kept saying I should write a book one day. I should write. You hear people say that, right? And one day someone just stopped me. It's like, look, you
Yes.
should write a book then and
Right.
stop talking about it. You
Yes.
know, just stop talking. And so that's part of what you're doing. You're telling people, don't just keep talking about it, be about it, you know, and be positive about it. And how do people respond to you, Mo?
In regards to the book and or myself, they're inspired by it.
Right.
Like I just recently had a couple of book signings and they were all sold out. Just by me connecting. When you read a book, it's connection. It's not just reading a book. Okay, let's put it in the shelf, but it's just really connecting with people. Like really connecting. Like I was there with you. I understand how you feel. And if I don't, I want to just give me a hug. I want to give you love. I want to give you this type of motivation to push you to persevere in whatever you may be doing.
So where do you see Mo going, Mo the brand, because you are a brand, both in the gym and in the community and with the book. So what do you've got this momentum now. What's next for you?
My next goal will be writing another book and traveling. So right now I'm doing a lot of that. This Saturday I'm doing another book signing at Gina M. Woodruff Gallery in Long Beach. And it's going to be, my goal is just to reach as many people as I can, just to teach them that you can do this. Kids, adults, everyone. And so my goal is to keep reaching and keep pursuing.
Right. Now, you mentioned that gallery, but maybe by the time this show airs, that date will have occurred.
Probably, you're right.
So I'll just ask now, and we'll go back to it later, but you do have contact information that we'll show at the end of this where people can follow up to find out where you're at and what's going on.
Yes,
so we have your website, okay. So if they miss that one, there's something else.
Absolutely.
Because you're that kind of energy.
Oh, man.
You
Oh,
never run
yeah.
out of it. But you mentioned youth, Mo, and that's something that we work with here, and specifically we work with families in low income, right?
Right on.
And so they don't always have access to people like you and
Right on.
books, et cetera, or like me for that matter, unless I'm here at the office. What would you say to a youth out there in elementary school or in any level of K through 12 for that matter, that's doubting themselves or feeling that peer pressure that you or I felt when we were coming up?
Yeah.
What would be your motivation to them to strive to be their best?
You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're talented. You keep persevering, keep going. You're going to have people who may doubt you and might push you in another direction. But believe in yourself, believe in your motive, believe in the things you can do. Just keep going. Just keep striving. The goal is to keep striving. The goal is to keep persevering. I keep saying persevering because that's a strong, powerful word. Like, I always tell people, there's power in your name. There's power in your name. So use it. You know what I mean? There's power in your name. Like, yeah, that's power in my name. It's power in your name. So no matter what's going on or what's going on in your life or what's going on around you, there's power in your name. You can just keep pushing.
Now, do you ever go out to schools or go
Yes.
out in the community and do that?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
How is it? You among the kids?
Oh,
That's
man,
got to be quite a scene.
They already think that I'm their age anyway, so, you know, it's a...
That's because you're so tall?
Right, I'm saying the same thing, you know. No, but they love it. Like, I push them to, I get them to realize, like, man, you see what's going on right now? You see how wonderful you are? You making those steps. Sometimes they doubt themselves.
Yeah, a lot of times they doubt.
Yes.
A lot of times adults doubt themselves,
Yes.
for that matter.
And a lot of times they get that from what they see on TV, whatever it is. Because they want to be like them. They want to be like someone else and not themselves. And so we have to keep pushing and motivate them, like, it's okay to be you. You're beautiful. You are uniquely made the way you are, you know? So it's important.
It's interesting you say that because I teach Strengths Finder.
Okay.
And it's all about identifying your inherent talents.
Right on.
And the key is to understand that we all have something unique, right? That is going to make us an amazing me. We just got to tap into what that is. Don't worry about being that other person. So I do it my way, you do it your way, and collectively we make that impact. We only have less than 2 minutes.
Okay.
What's a thought you want to leave people with about what your perspective is on how we can be our best me?
My thing is that whatever you may be going through in your life, know that every struggle equals strength. Don't give up. Don't put your head down. You keep pushing no matter what. So whatever struggle you may be going through, whether it's finance, whatever it is, you can get through it. You can persevere. You can push. Motivate yourself by looking to yourself and say, I love you. You got to learn how to speak word affirmation. You have to really start saying that you love yourself, you are in love with yourself, and you keep pushing yourself no matter what.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank
We're
you.
out of time, but I'm not out of questions and not out of
man.
energy for you, but we have to bring you back another time.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd like to thank Monique Brown and Naomi Rainey Pierson for joining us on today's show. Be sure to follow PadNet TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest updates. We also welcome your comments and your thoughts regarding this show as we strive to make Long Beach Lens a favorite source of local news, information, and entertainment. This show has been brought to you with support from the Long Beach Community Action Partnership, helping people, changing lives. Thank you for watching Long Beach Lens.